everybody, and welcome to Dom Solo. Of course, I am Dom Martino, and I have just watched Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3. As always, guys, before we get started here today, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave some feedback in the comments section, and share this with your friends. I would appreciate that very much. Let's break this down. Alright, so obviously, to get started here, Din Djarin, he has that frog lady to get back home. The ship just crash lands, which was a tribute to Apollo 13, which I thought was pretty cool. It is actually like pretty much shot by shot from Apollo 13, and obviously Bryce Dallas Howard directed this episode, so she wanted to pay tribute to her father. So I just thought that was really, really awesome and pretty cool. Once they're on the planet, the frog lady and she reunites with her husband. I thought that was a real sweet moment, to be honest with you. We also see the Mon Calamari pretty much inhabits this planet that they're on, which I think is pretty cool. I can't remember the name of the planet. They said it in episode 2, and I believe the planet, if you give me 1 second here, let's see, Kalivin, I believe, is the name of the planet. Anyway, I just thought it was really cool to see the Mon Calamari. Obviously, that is Admiral Akbar's species, who we've seen throughout many of the saga films, and obviously Akbar Jr., who we saw in The Rise of Skywalker, is also a part of that crew. So I just thought that stuff was pretty cool. Then we see the husband actually points to this like inn looking thing where the where somebody knows where Din Djarin could find other Mandalorian, which was his whole reason for being there in the first place. Then we see a flash of a hooded figure. We saw this in the trailer. This is somebody played by Sasha Banks, who we later find out is really just another Mandalorian, but we'll get to that in a second. I thought the don't play with your food scene was funny. That thing just pops out and grabs a child by the face, and then Din Djarin just, hits it with the stick and says, don't play with your food. And then the child just kind of looks at his food, then he looks back at Din, and he's just like, you serious right now, man? I didn't do that shit. So I thought that stuff was really, really funny. Yeah, so then we have, after that, they're on this boat. He meets with this guy who says he knows where you find other Mandalorians, and then they get on this guy's boat, and basically there's a thing called a mama core that they feed, and they're feeding the mama core, and he says, you ever see the mama core eat? And then so they get real close to watch it eat. The guy hits the child with a stick. The child goes in. The mama core eats the child. I'm sitting back like, holy crap! Did that actually happen? Is this show doing this right now? I was pretty blown away by that, and very scared for the child in the moment. Obviously, it was just crazy. I mean, you were like, how's he gonna get out? This Din goes diving in after him, but they locked in the cage. And then 3 Mandalorians show up, and you could tell, if you were a fan of Clone Wars and Rebels, that the one Mandalorian with the painted armor is clearly Bo-Katan, and that was really exciting to see. And she's played by Katie Sackhoff, who also voiced her in the show, which is pretty amazing. I don't think we really ever found out the names of the other 2 Mandalorian that she was with. 2 were one of them was female, the other one was male, and one of those was Sasha Banks' character. So I know a lot of people thought she was going to be playing Sabine Wren from Rebels. That turned out to not be the case, so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But, they never really promised Sasha Banks would be playing Sabine Wren. That was something that seemed to have been conjured up by the fans prior to the episode airing. So, then what we end up having is Mando, talks to, Mando talks to these Mandalorian, and he's like, there's no way you guys could be Mandalorian. You guys, you have your masks off. I can't take my mask off. They explained to him that they're from a different creed, a different time. They fought in the Purge. I thought that was really cool, because it kind of sets up that, okay, so these Mandalorian do things different. And it really gives an understanding to those who didn't watch the animated series to be able to really get who these Mandalorian are, because they actually wouldn't know much about that. and they wouldn't know Bo-Katan, didn't take her mask off, or took her mask off. I'm sorry, and Mando can't. Back then it was like Mandalorian was more of a race than it was a creed, so it was kind of a different thing. But now it's become a creed, as Mando's explained in the first season. So, but anyway, I just thought that was cool. They did a really good job just separating the groups in that sense. She tells them. I'm sorry. So, yeah. So basically she tells them about the Watch, they're the children of the Watch. That is their group, and basically Mando, that scares him off. He's like, there's only one way to my knowledge. So he walks off, and he's walking through the town, and he's greeted with the more Mon Calamari, who are coming up to him. They're threatening him. They're like, dude, you killed my brother, because he's Mandalorian. That's all they know is a Mandalorian killed the brother. But then here comes Bo-Katan and her entourage. They're coming up, and she's like, no, I killed your brother. So I thought that was a pretty awesome scene. I really enjoyed that. Pretty cool stuff. It was really badass to watch them take these Mon Calamari down. So Bo's talking to Mando about Trask, and right, so it's pretty much been taken over by the Empire. They want to seize it, and so he's like, well, we could do this in exchange for information. So Mando's like, yeah. So he takes the child back to the husband and the wife. He trusts them. I mean, they're the closest people he can trust. They're going to watch the child while they go on this very dangerous mission. So they want to go. The first thing they're going to do in order to help them seize Trask is to take over or take down this Imperial freighter, which these freighters are always really cool to see, because we don't really see a lot of them in any other Star Wars lore. So it's always awesome when they show up. Mando, the four of them, they hop on this thing, and everything here is just incredibly well shot. It's very action packed. It's pretty awesome to watch. It's cool to see Bo-Katan in action in the live action format. We've only really ever seen that in Clone Wars, so I had a high appreciation for these scenes. I thought that her going out, the craziest part was when they go up to the this guy who's played by Welliver, something Welliver. He plays Bosch. His cameo was kind of cool to see. So they go, this guy's like, okay, so they've taken over these troopers. What are we supposed to do? He's talking to Moff Gideon, by the way. So this is the first time we saw Moff Gideon in this season, and Moff Gideon's showing up as a hologram. And he's like, you got to send me back up or something. He's like, well, if they've taken down the troopers, that's not an option. We don't have any other options. You know what to do. Excuse me. So he takes basically, he takes down the pilot and the co-pilot. I couldn't think of how to word that. I apologize. Yeah, so he takes down the pilot and the co-pilot, and that is pretty something, because he's like, okay, this is how the Empire's working now. They cannot risk, because they are so few in numbers, they cannot risk being taken over at this point. I mean, this is really prefaced in the Aftermath books, and I like that they're carrying over that idea here, that the Empire doesn't really have much of a plan, and especially since this series takes place post Battle of Jakku, I mean, that kind of makes sense, because now the Empire's in fewer numbers after that, right? So, yeah, they don't really have they have a lot to lose. They can't really afford to lose, too much here. So they're like, if we're going to go down, they got to go down. So he's thinking he's going to crash the ship into the ground. Obviously it doesn't happen. When Mando, runs down that hallway and throws those explosives to take down the stormtroopers, it's pretty awesome. But right before that, we kind of get where Bo-Katan's head's at. And this is really good for the casual fan, the one that didn't get to see Clone Wars and Rebels. So we get to really see what she's thinking, which is pretty much, I need the Darksaber. And I like that he's like, you're changing the terms of the deal. It's kind of a callback to Empire when Lando gets royally screwed by Vader when he alters the deal. I'm altering the deal. Like, that is such a cool callback to that, and I really enjoyed watching this stuff. I mean, anytime they really reference the original trilogy, it's awesome. You can really tell that Favreau and Filoni are taking their toys out here, right? And they're just kind of messing around, and I think that it's not in a sense that I don't think they have a plan. I think they know where they want to end. I just feel like they're still kind of messing around in the sense, like, they're still experimenting on what they could do with Star Wars and how much inside baseball can casual fans take if they explain it right. And I think that's a really fun experiment, and it's really awesome to see these guys do this. Excuse me. So yeah, so they, like I was saying, though, they take down, everybody on the ship. Excuse me here, I kind of lost my spot. They take down everybody on the ship, though, and they're going to try to, crash the ship into the ground. Bo, kind of goes up to the one Imperial, and this is really going to show us, it shows us how bad of a guy Moff Gideon is, in my opinion, because she's like, does he have the saber? And he's like, well, if you have to ask, you already know. And I think that kind of gives a little more character to Moff Gideon, just that on its own. And then she's like, okay, tell me, and I'll let you live, or help me get him, or take me to him. I'll let you live, essentially. And he's like, you might let me live, but lady, Moff Gideon, he ain't gonna let me live. So basically, we see the guy just get electrocuted. It's like, Jesus, did Gideon just, like, put electricity through all these Imperials? Like, are they required to wear something electric in their hats? Maybe, I don't know, but it's pretty interesting that he could just kill them like that. So I really want to know what's going on there. Hopefully we find out more pretty much in the near future. I just can't wait to see how Gideon's whole operation works. Obviously, he can electrocute and kill these guys in the drop of a dime, so I think that's pretty something. Yeah. Oh, by the way, didn't mention Bo-Katan jabbing that stormtrooper in the throat, though. Oh, that was something with her blade. I mean, that was so cool. Pretty badass moment. I wanted to make sure I threw that out there before we ended this episode, because I think that's worth noting, that is some, like, that's pretty brutal. I mean, there was some serious action going on in this episode. Boy, Bryce Dallas Howard just did a fantastic job, if you ask me, directing this. Then Mando, basically Mando goes out to Bo. He's like, you gotta help me, I helped you. She's like, no, come with us, and he's like, I gotta get this child to his kind. She's like, okay, fine. So she's, she tells him, and this is one of the big reveals here. She says, to take her to Corvus to see Ahsoka Tano, and I jumped up out of my seat and I did a little happy dance, because I gotta tell you, oh man, just to hear that name in a live action format is quite amazing. Obviously, fans of the animated series are going to get more excited about this than casual fans out there. But let me tell you, casual fans, something. Just you wait, because if they do Ahsoka Tano right, if they really do it right, and I have no reason to doubt Favreau and Filoni at this point. They did Bo-Katan right, which, they got the original voice actor. It's going to be a little more risky with Ahsoka, because I know they're getting like Rosario Dawson or something like that to play her. But so they are taking a risk there. But if they do it right, I'm telling you guys, you guys are you're going to love this character. I think all you guys out there who aren't really familiar with this character. Actually, my personal favorite Star Wars novel to date is the Ahsoka Tano novel. Ahsoka is called, by E.K. Johnston. I really, really love this character, and I can't wait for you casual folks to see the character, which I'm going to get to my speculation on when we're going to see Ahsoka Tano here in a minute, so stick around for that. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Like, we have a clear direction now. That's one thing this episode did. It gave it a clear direction. It's basically saying, this is where we're going. Amanda's going to take the child to Ahsoka Tano. So we know our next step. And I think we're going to spend actually probably a couple episodes before we get to that point, and I'll get to that in a minute. So Mando picks up the child and leaves. And if you guys didn't notice, off the back of Mando's ship, something looks like it fell off there. So I wonder if we're going to take another detour there too. But that's the end of that. My overall thoughts. I mean, this is probably it might be my personal favorite episode of seasons 1 and 2 so far. Yeah, holy crap, this was good. I really enjoyed this. It was cool to see lore from I mean, they've already kind of done this with Cobb Vanth in the first episode of the season. But yeah, I love that it was called Chapter 11, the Harris, by the way. I want to make sure I throw that out there because Bo-Katan, for you casual fans, is the rightful heir to the Darksaber. Last time we saw her in Rebels, Sabine Wren was giving her the Darksaber, and that basically gave Bo-Katan the power. She's the leader of Mandalore. So we don't really know. There's not a fan in the world who really actually knows how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber. So this is like the big mystery to us hardcore fans right now, just so everybody knows. So I'm sure we'll dive into that. How did he get it from Bo-Katan? How did it go from Bo-Katan's hands into Gideon's hands? I mean, excuse me, that's going to be quite the story, I think, and it's a pretty cool mystery to think about. But yeah, and it reminds me of my favorite aspects of Star Wars video games, like Knights of the Old Republic and Jedi Fallen Order. It takes other pieces of lore. It's side missions, right? You're doing all these side missions, but you're connecting them all to the overall story. And I really like this format for something. I don't know that this is necessarily going to be good in terms of the Star Wars legacy. We'll see how well these series hold up 20, 30 years down the road. I think that that's what the movies were for, but I think that this is for the Star Wars fans of now. I think that the movies are going to really be a part of Disney's legacy. They're putting their legacy in the orifice that is Star Wars, right? That they're sticking their flag in. And I think that is pretty cool. And I don't know if this will be a part of that or not. This is, to me, like expanded stuff for people who just want to know more. But somehow it's gotten the casual fans hooked, and I'm happy about that because now the casual fans get to see all the things that us hardcore fans have been excited about for a very, very long time. So it's all really exciting stuff, and I enjoyed this episode for that reason, and I've enjoyed this entire series and this season for that reason. I like the way that they slowly built. Now, let's talk about Ahsoka for a second, because I don't think we're going to get her in the next episode. They would seem to be really... They really seem to give us this stuff at a pretty sparing pace. So I have a couple theories about what's going to end up happening with the Ahsoka deal. I think that actually the next episode, this is just a theory. My best theory is that basically we're going to spend time with the Empire. Now, guys, hear me out, because I think it's going to build the way that The Empire Strikes Back built, right? We would switch back and forth in The Empire Strikes Back between the Empire and the main story, right? Or the good guys and the bad guys. We got to switch back and forth, and I think that this season's going to take a risk and do that. It's going to try it, and it's going to see how it goes, right? I think that it's not something that hasn't been tried before. We do that in the films. I think we could do that here, and we could spend an episode without Din Djarin and the child, or maybe they'll pop up for little moments, but that is just my theory, is that we'll kind of go over to Moff Gideon's side of things and see what he's up to, just to build it out a lot more, and I think that's a pretty cool way to expand this world even further, and it's just good for storytelling. If you can build your bad guys as much as you've built your good guys, that's impressive. And the films and even TV shows are only as good as their villains. I truly believe that. So I think that might be where we're going to go in this next episode. We might take a break from Din and the child. Maybe not a complete one. Like I said, maybe they'll still pop in and out, but I think it's going to be predominantly focused on what's going on Moff Gideon's end. And then I think I don't know, maybe episode 5 might even be the detour. Maybe they got to go get the ship fixed. Maybe they go back to, what was that planet? Navarro. To see Cara Dune and Grief Karga, and that's, they help Mando fix his ship. I think that'd be pretty cool if they helped with the Razor Crest. He doesn't have a Queel anymore because he died in the first season to help him with that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. I am excited to see where this goes regardless. I'm really, really digging this season, like, through and through. I think it's already better than the first season. Obviously, it all depends on where it ends up going ultimately. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this one, guys. And boy, what a ride this last episode was, even for a half hour. And I heard a lot of people thinking they got gypped in that half hour, but did they really? Because we got more nuggets and things in this half hour than we did in the longer episodes. But not to say the longer episodes are bad. I think that they're fantastic. I mean, they're pieces of the quest, right? And so is this one, really, when you look at it. But I just think we got more nuggets of lore in this one. And my other theory is that they're giving Bryce Dallas Howard, being one of the newer directors, like the smaller episodes, just because she's a little more, she's not seasoned as, say, a Jon Favreau and a Peyton Reed, who came in to do the longer episodes for the first two. So yeah, guys, but they're going to give her stories that she's good, that fit her style, and that she's good at telling. So I definitely think that's what happened here. So that's just a theory, but I definitely think that's what's going on. But yeah, guys, don't think we're going to get Ahsoka in the next one. I think we might actually go spend some time with Moff Gideon. We'll see if I'm right, but I am really looking forward to the 4th episode of Mandalorian season 2. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. It'll be chapter 12 of this whole overall story, and I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Leave some feedback there, and share this with your friends if you know anybody who'd be interested. The only other thing that I am going to throw out here is, because I know a lot of you guys are looking at this format and you're going, what the hell, this isn't how you usually do your breakdowns. Yeah. The editing breakdowns, it takes way too long, so I'm going to switch over to this format anyway. And for when we do chapter 12 episode 4, we are going to be talking about that one with a guest, Josh Richards, who I'm excited to bring back to this channel, because he hasn't been back on for a long time, and I think he's going to do all these with me throughout the remainder of the season. I know he's a huge fan of the show, and he's got some really good insight on all this lore too, that and we can really, this way, I feel like, start to provide a service better, because it's not so much focused on what I'm saying on the discussion if we're just doing these editorial type videos, right? So I want to focus more on the discussion, what I can say. I'm better in this format anyway. I like conversational type stuff. So that's what I would like to do for Dom Solo, is this format. I know it's different than the editorials, and but I don't think that they were getting much traction anyway. So here we are. I hope that this format really helps people, and or gets some people to enjoy this stuff a lot more. So guys, make sure you hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dom Solo, and I will see you guys for the 4th episode of season 2. So be sure to tune in then. May the Force be with you.